Jamal Roberts never imagined that a small town kid with a big voice could one day be the face of American Idol. Growing up in a modest neighborhood, surrounded by a close knit family and a community that always believed in him, music was his escape. It started with humming melodies at age 5, then learning church hymns from his grandmother, and eventually recording covers in his cousin's makeshift home studio. From those early moments, Jamal felt something shift every time he sang, like the world paused to hear him. His classmates knew it, his neighbors knew it, and deep down, so did he. But dreaming big in a small town often feels like trying to fly with one wing. Still, Jamal kept going. Whether it was singing in school assemblies or local talent shows, he made sure every note mattered. Every lyric was a piece of his story. He didn't have the fanciest clothes, the best equipment, or any real industry connections. What he had was raw talent, humility, and a soul that could turn even the most familiar songs into something brand new. He often walked around with earbuds in his ears, listening to everything from gospel to classic rock, from 90s R&B to country ballads. Jamal believed that real artists don't box themselves into one genre. They feel the music, no matter where it comes from. He soaked up influences like a sponge: Aretha Franklin's soul, Donny Hathaway's emotion, Chris Stapleton's grit, and Whitney Houston's vocal range. Music wasn't just something he listened to. It was something he studied. When American Idol auditions were announced in the nearby city, Jamal didn't hesitate. He had been waiting for this his entire life. Borrowing his aunt's car, wearing a secondhand button-up, and carrying nothing but his voice, he stepped into a room full of hopefuls. It was nerve-wracking, but when he opened his mouth to sing, it was as if the noise of the world faded into silence. The judges were stunned. His version of a classic soul ballad wasn't just good, it was transcendent. He didn't imitate, he transformed. That audition clip hit the internet like wildfire. Overnight, Jamal went from unknown to unforgettable. Social media exploded with praise. Comments poured in from all over the country. "Who is this guy? I felt every word. He just made me cry, and I don't even know why." It was more than talent, it was soul meeting sound. Week after week, Jamal delivered performances that lit up social media and brought people to tears. One week, he flipped a rock anthem into a slow-burning gospel track. Another week, he turned a bubblegum pop hit into a haunting, stripped-down acoustic confession. The internet couldn't stop talking about him. He trended almost every week. People from all walks of life said they saw themselves in him. He was authenticity in motion. Not just a singer, but a storyteller, a vessel of feeling. In Hollywood Week, Jamal had a moment that would later become legend. Contestants were dropping out, nerves were high, and the pressure was crushing. Jamal had just lost his voice the night before, but insisted on singing live anyway. What came out was not perfect, but it was real. The judges didn't just see courage, they saw heart. One judge whispered, "He's not just here to win, he's here to move mountains." As the live shows kicked off, Jamal's momentum became undeniable. He performed a stripped-down version of a hit pop song. Just him, a piano, and the truth. That performance alone gained millions of views online and earned him the nickname, "The Voice That Heals." People posted videos of themselves crying while watching. Soldiers overseas, nurses in hospitals, parents rocking babies to sleep. It wasn't about just singing anymore. It was healing. Jamal's journey wasn't just captivating. It was transformative for those watching. He brought a level of emotional honesty that made people reflect on their own dreams, their own battles, and their own resilience. As the competition narrowed down to the final contestants, Jamal stayed grounded. He never forgot where he came from. He frequently wore a bracelet with his late grandfather's initials and would often say a prayer before every performance. This wasn't about fame for him. It was about purpose. The judges noticed how he made each performance feel like a message. Even the production team behind the scenes would sometimes get choked up hearing him rehearse. One producer was overheard saying, "This kid is the soul of the season." During the top 5 week, Jamal pulled off something that had never been done in Idol history. He performed a mashup of 3 iconic songs, one from each genre that influenced him growing up: gospel, soul, and pop. The medley was risky, but Jamal made it magic. It wasn't just musically brilliant, it told a story of a boy growing up with music as his lifeline, a boy who believed so deeply in his dream, he gave it every ounce of breath in his body. That performance trended #1 on YouTube Music for 3 days. Celebrities tweeted about him, fans created fan pages overnight, reaction videos flooded TikTok. One popular influencer called it the most important American Idol moment in years. Jamal wasn't just a contestant anymore, he was a cultural moment. Back in his hometown, the community rallied behind him. They painted murals, held watch parties in local gyms, and even renamed a street after him temporarily. Jamal Roberts' Way was more than just a gesture. It was a declaration, a celebration of a young man who carried not just his voice, but the voices of so many who'd been overlooked. Every week, Jamal reminded us what it means to believe in something bigger than yourself. When it came down to the final 3, the energy was electric. His final solo performance was an original song he wrote during the competition, titled Lift Me From Here. It was a song about rising, about struggling with doubt, and about finding light in the middle of your darkest nights. He sang it like he lived it. Like it wasn't just a song, it was his truth. And when the confetti fell, when the final votes were counted, and Ryan Seacrest announced his name as the winner of American Idol, the world erupted. Jamal stood there in stunned silence, tears flowing, hands trembling. This wasn't just a win. It was history. It was the sound of every closed door finally swinging open. It was every "you can't" turning into "you just did." The perks of winning American Idol? Sure, there's the record deal, the fame, the press, and yes, the Bentley he finally bought. Something he used to drive past in a dealership window, just dreaming. But the real perk? It's the platform, the voice, the chance to reach people the way music once reached him. And Jamal isn't wasting that chance. His debut album broke streaming records, his tour sold out in minutes, and his story is now being turned into a docuseries. Yet despite all of it, he still goes back home. He mentors local kids, visits his old high school, and even started a scholarship for young musicians. Because Jamal knows that talent is everywhere. Opportunity isn't. After the show ended, Jamal could have soaked in the fame, vanished behind velvet ropes, and lived the life of a celebrity. But that wasn't him. The day after winning American Idol, he flew back to his hometown, not for press, not for publicity, but to hug his mother, visit his old music teacher, and speak at the community center where he first performed. "This win is yours too," he told the crowd gathered outside the local church, "because I'm just a mirror of all the love and belief you gave me." Record labels offered everything: big advances, creative control, international launches. But Jamal chose the path that aligned with his soul. He signed with a label that promised him freedom over flash, where he could write, produce, and shape his story. His debut album, Echoes of the Heart, was a love letter to his past and a blueprint for his future. It debuted at #1 on multiple charts, not because it had celebrity features or over-the-top marketing, but because every song came from a place of truth. Tracks like Secondhand Dreams, Backroad Hallelujah, and Fireproof Tears became anthems for anyone who's ever fought for a dream with nothing but hope in their pocket. Jamal's voice started showing up everywhere, not just in songs, but in the hearts of people fighting their own uphill battles. Teachers played his music in classrooms. Therapists recommended his lyrics for clients who couldn't find the words. Veterans said his music helped with PTSD. It was more than just art, it was a lifeline, and the world began to take serious notice. He was invited to perform at the White House. He sang at major award shows and even turned down roles in major films because they didn't align with his purpose. "I'm not chasing every opportunity," he said in an interview. "I'm chasing the right ones." With every accolade, Jamal never lost that hunger, that humility. He launched a nonprofit that sends recording equipment and mentorship to underserved schools. He guest starred as a surprise mentor on the next season of American Idol, watching hopeful contestants walk in, just like he did, and reminding them that belief is a muscle. "If you exercise it every day," he told one contestant, "it'll carry you places talent alone never could." As the years passed, Jamal's influence only grew. He collaborated with legends, mentored rising stars, and even headlined a world tour titled the Heart Wide Open Tour. But through it all, he never stopped being Jamal, the boy who once recorded songs in a bedroom closet, now sharing stages with the very artists who shaped his sound. His fans weren't just fans, they were family. They followed his journey not because of hype, but because he carried their stories with his voice. People tattooed his lyrics, couples got engaged at his concerts, parents named their babies after him. Jamal became more than an artist, he became a movement. And if you ever ask Jamal what his favorite moment was, he won't say it was the Idol win, or the sold out arenas, or the chart topping albums. He'll tell you it was when a little girl walked up to him at a gas station, hugged his leg, and whispered, "Your song made me believe I'm special too." That's who Jamal is. So now, to everyone chasing something, whether it's a dream, a breakthrough, or just the courage to start, let Jamal's story remind you you don't need perfection, privilege, or permission. You just need purpose.